Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Joe Reichsfeld is back in his building, not mine. Welcome back to the Joe Show. Welcome back to the show, Joe. Say that when you're pissed. Today, influencers we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about dialing in the reduction of acquisition costs, how to go about it and stuff. You got a bit of a step through. You sent me some notes over what you wanted to discuss. But first, for those who don't know you, but most people will, do you want to give people a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah, so I've been in e-commerce since 1999, and I've been working as a coach and consultant for 16, almost 17 years now.
Yep.
I work with a lot of Amazon sellers, but I also work with a lot of sellers that are omni-channel and worldwide. So I do a lot with people with diversifying. I've got a big marketing background, so I focus on the marketing techniques that work on and off whatever platform. They're platform independent.
Yeah.
And that's really what sellers need is not having to rely on somebody else.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's tough, isn't it? Because it's like a crack pipe with Amazon for most people, and the percentage of their sales are off Amazon. But yeah, I mean, it's there. We have to deal with what we have to deal with.
Yep.
But there's also the opportunities outside, especially as you start to scale on Amazon, as you know, and you start to free up some funds. You've got half decent cash flow. You've got a decent setup team around you. You're doing over 100K a month or so. It gives you a chance to experiment. If you started with Amazon, I'm talking about. I mean, obviously other people use Amazon as a channel, but a lot of people from our community use Amazon as the base, and then they look to expand out and say, well, where do we allocate time and funds to?
It's a good place to start.
Yeah. So let's start with the key. I love a little bit of data, and you've put here trust and authority. 92% of people trust recommendations from individuals, even from people they don't know, over brands. Do you want to break that out a little bit for us?
Yeah, that's crazy. People are tired of ads. People don't go to social media to buy stuff.
Yeah.
So, naturally, the hardcore ads don't really work. So when you try to succeed on like Facebook with Facebook advertising or some of these other platforms, rather than just do the hard sell, it helps when you start the conversation. It doesn't look like an ad, and people react because that's why they're on social media to begin with. So when you have people that, when user-generated content just goes a long, long way. Plus, it lasts. User-generated content, even for Amazon sellers and sellers that only sell on Amazon, generating and getting user-generated content and spreading it around social media puts your brand in front of potential buyers before they get to Amazon. The goal is the branded search. If you can get the branded search from people when they get to Amazon to search for product, it's going to be much harder for the guy doing PPC or the guy doing 2-for-1 or whatever to get them away from you. If you're the only brand they recognize when they do that search, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Influencers, they've called it something else in the past, and they've been around for a long time. Before Facebook, we had forums. We did forum advertising, and we used, we leveraged forums and different things like that, magazine ads and e-zine ads and stuff like that. But influencers have, it's changed the industry. And even if you look at the dollar numbers, the numbers, of sales and stuff generated by influencers, you can't measure the longevity of it. For example, Reese's Pieces, they were about to go out of business in 1983, and they were in the movie E.T. That's still paying them dividends. They're still in business.
Yeah.
How do you put a number on that? And so when people are looking at it, what the return from influencers and stuff like that, they don't really see it. And there's a disconnect between sellers with influencers. the typical influencer thing is 1 or 2 shout outs and that's it. And you pay out a lot of money and you expect a great return, and really it doesn't happen. So then you're frustrated and you don't ever try again. Well, a post on Instagram lasts 2 hours, 4 hours, let's say 2 days. That sucks for what you're paying for. That really, really sucks. So, you have the conversation has to change. The expectations have to change. And even the influencer industry is evolving. So influencers now are splitting up into 2 separate groups. There's influencers and there's content creators. And they are both really kind of picky about what you call them. For a small business, you want to go with the content creators as opposed to the influencers. So an influencer might be, somebody like The Rock or somebody like that just does, some jabroni commercial or shout out for you, and you spend a lot of money, and you know what? You probably do really, really well. However, that's it. It's over. Whereas a creator, they create posts that they know resonate with their audience. You want to make sure that you have ownership of those posts. So if you just take their Instagram post and you put it on Pinterest, you just extended the life by 7 months. If we look at that metric, 92% of people trust recommendations from people over brands, even people they don't know. You've got 7 months of goodness out of that just simple post that all you did was repurpose it to another platform. Well, if you put that on your Facebook, you put that, there's a lot of different places for you to get mileage out of that. So when you work with an influencer, you don't want to do just a one and done agreement. You want something that has a little bit of longevity to it, and that has some assets that you're going to get back out of it. The other major change with influencers is, I think we've all seen fake influencers and people that do try really hard and they don't accomplish anything. A lot of the big agencies now have switched their models to pay per performance. So they're not paying out big on the front end. They're doing commissions and they're doing bonus.
I think honestly that's better. I'll be honest with you, because you talk about micro influencers and all this kind of stuff, but micro influencers to me is like having a very small main list. Because let's say you've got 100 people on the main list and you've got a 20% open rate. It's 20 people. Let's just say 2 people click on that and 50% of those people buy. Great, that's 1. But your list is too small. And so it's the same with a micro influencer as well, is that let's say they got 1,000 followers. Let's say they haven't had engagement from 50% of those followers, right? For a long, long time. Let's just say their reach, they get 300 people looking at it and 0.1% clicks on it. But you just spent $500 or, like you said, there's mechanics there. And that's why I believe the performance model is better. If you're an influencer that says, I'm going to do this for you, but they can't prove it. But most of them won't go on a model. They want a flat rate up front. It's X price.
Put your money where your mouth is. Yeah, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done the pay performance thing myself for a long time, because that's what we did before, before Instagram, and it works. As a seller, you're used to giving an influencer 2 products, one for them to keep, one for them to give away. Well, all you have to do is frame it just a little bit differently. Rather than say one for them to give away, one for them to raffle off to their followers. So we gave a set of headers that we would normally sell, exhaust headers that we would normally sell for $300. They cost us $20. We gave them to a Jeep, an off-road Jeep group with 40,000 members. Yeah. They raffled off the headers for $2,500 to their group, and they made commission on all the sales that they referred. I mean, so they, the headers were only worth $300. They raffled them off for $2,500. That's value, So if an influencer, if they just do a contest, everybody loves contests. If they just sell $1 tickets, to win this product, they're going to get more value out of that product. And you're just giving them, they just don't know. I mean, that's just not something they're used to doing, and it works. It works really well. But I agree 100%. The pay performance is something that needed to be done, because
But most won't do it because they know the reality of it. Either they've bought followers, they know what the results are from previous runs with campaigns with people, and they know they can't guarantee anything, but they still want that money up front. I've done it where we did it for Branded by Women a couple of years ago for the first one. I didn't spend $700 on a post or anything, but it was interesting when you're chatting with these people. It's like they soon go cold once you ask to dig down a little bit.
Yep.
So it seemed to me, it's like, no, we want our flat rate. That's what we want. And I'm talking about going through TikTok and Insta, going through about 100 influencers. I had someone working on it and document. I said, I want you to document. Give me the reactions. When they ask this, ask them this question. When they ask this, and you start to see them fold up a little bit. They're really, a lot of them, maybe it's because it's their full-time job and their rent is built into it. And my rent's costing me a couple of grand a month plus food. Let's say $2,500. Yeah. They need to meet their raw costs. So they're like,
I have to produce results. So should they.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. So I want to go back to your point here, because you mentioned ET, big brand and everything else. I think this is one of the most difficult industries to really get an uplift, because there's an exception and then there's the rule. Yeah. So it's a bit like affiliate market. 99%, I think, of affiliate marketers fail. They give up after a period of time. They've burnt through their list and stuff like that, or they don't get the results because then they're not putting in the work. But with affiliate marketing, the house always wins, because it's last click attribution. So when you see all these people running around doing affiliate deals, the house always wins. So you can have 100 affiliates. They don't care. As long as something gets sold, that's all what matters. Who the attribution goes to is irrelevant really to them. Obviously, they want to keep their affiliates happy, but it's like, gambling in Vegas, isn't it? The house will always win. And if you've got 100 people leveraging like their social currency, their lists, their communications with people, their relationships and like that, based on commission only on doing the affiliate deals, you could do all the work and someone come along, just gets the final click and done, literally pop their link onto Facebook. And do you see what I mean? So the balance of it, that's why you got to look at it.
It happens all the time.
Exactly.
I mean, part of the system that we do is we want to have 50 influencers, nano influencers, micro influencers, macro influencers. We want to have 50 people creating content and putting it out there, so that your potential buyer sees one of the influencers they follow this week talking about the product. Well, they won't remember who you are. 2 weeks later, they see one of the other influencers that they follow mentioning the same product. A week later, they see an ad somewhere for it, or they see a remarketing ad for it somewhere. That's all about building brand awareness. Well, who gets the attribution? It depends on whether or not they clicked either one of the affiliate links from those influencers at any point, or if they just looked up the brand name because they remember it. And it's hard to measure. Influencers, the good ones, are diehard with their followers about, hey, this is the link, use this. The good influencers can, so many influencers, when you talk to them, they can't tell you conversion rates. If they can't tell you conversion rates, there's a problem. If they can't tell you what kind of content that their followers respond to the best, there's a problem. It means that they're not paying attention, or they're not actually producing results. So what we do a lot is we ask right up front, what kind of conversions have you had in the past? What kind of results have you had in the past based on this amount of followers? Well, they're just like waiters. They make money based on, what they say. So what do? They all pump it up just a little bit. They always pad their number. The first thing we do when they give us a number, if it's a satisfactory number, is we tell them that if they meet or beat that number, we will double or triple their commissions. and we give them an incentive. So now you have a chance to double what you're going to make.
Yeah.
Good influencers are all over that, because they know they can do it.
So let's go through some steps now. We're about 15 minutes in. Let's break it down based on, I'm going off the title of Powering Up Influence Army to Grow Your Audience and Lower Your Cost of Acquisition. Now we kind of set the scene. Let's break that down. So,
okay. So we have 5 steps. There's 5 steps to put it all together. And it's all about identifying the right people. So the first thing you want to do is create a hashtag list of the most powerful hashtags that apply to your product, your industry, and your category.
Any specific tools to do the search or manual search?
IQhashtags.com.
Yeah,
they have a free level, but they also have a yearly. A year is only like $33, and it gives you a lot of metrics. It gives you post counts, comments, likes. It'll track hashtags for you. One search gets you 200 related hashtags and trends.
Yep.
So the first thing you do is you go there, you put in your seed word, and you get a list of hashtags. And then you do it for some of the other hashtags that you have that didn't come up in that list.
Yep.
And you eliminate the ones that don't mean anything, but you want to have this hashtag list. Then you go to, that's step 1. Step 2 is you go to Instagram, and you're going to want to track all this. You want to have a good tracking system, spreadsheet. I mean, we have a spreadsheet that we give away that can track your hashtags. It'll track your, who you've reached out to and what they've done for you. But you go to Instagram and search the top hashtags. When you put a hashtag into Instagram search, the drop down comes down and it gives you relevant, similar hashtags plus post counts. So, there's more hashtags. Well, then if you hit enter, it will give you just that hashtag and the top posts. And you want to look at the top posts and look for engagement. Those are normally from influencers. So what you're doing right now is you're just kind of growing your list. You're growing your list of hashtags and names. And the big one that we've had a ton of luck with is shoulder niches. You sell dog collars, and I sell dog bowls. We share the same audience. There's no reason why your audience is not going to like me. They just don't know who I am. So I'm going to target your followers, and I'm going to target, your hashtags. I'm going to leverage your authority over them. That's gold. So we have all this list. Then we put it into social listening tools. Talkwalker alerts and a social mention are the ones that we recommend and that we use. That will automate the listening part. It alerts you to any time the hashtag is mentioned, or anytime the keyword or that influencer is posting stuff. We automate it. It goes right into Google Sheets, so you're not having to look at a million emails. It automates an email to a separate Gmail account, which just fills up a Google Sheet, so you can just look at this stuff. So we recommend that you set it up and you outsource it.
Yep.
VAs, there's a lot of VAs that know how to do this stuff. And what you're doing is you're trying to build a list of influencers. The best place to look for influencers is in your buyers list. And there's several tools that you can use that will go through your buyers list for you and extract out any celebrities that have bought from you in the past, anybody who is an influencer and could be already even talking about your product on social media.
Yeah.
Those people are going to be your brand advocates, and those are people you're going to have a longer relationship with. But what the end goal is that you have these people that are generating they're generating conversations about your company. I want to have 50. Am I going to get 50 right away? No, that's a crawl. It's going to take 6 months for you to build up 50 influencers of the various sizes, but it's easily done. And they create content for you. Wouldn't it be nice to not have to worry about your social media and actually have these people that are generating all this potentially viral social media posts that you can use and post over and over again and take that off your hands? There's a company called Luxy Hair. And if you look at their social media, all of their social media is produced by influencers, every bit of it. They sell hair extensions. And they have a ton of followers and they do a ton of business. And they put up all these posts, these young women, and they're great posts, and it's beauty. It's all stuff that you and I, as a business owner, would never think of posting. We're too busy with our company and focusing on our company, which people don't engage with those posts. They don't.
Can I ask a quick question there?
Yep.
There are kind of more lifestyle brands, sports brands, especially makeup industry, because you can send them to your customers, right? To say, oh, would you mind posting a social video? What about, finding markets for the better? Did you say it was the exhaust pipe or something? The less sexy end of stuff, Is there certain stuff that simply won't work? Let's just say you sell doorknobs for kitchen units, replacement knobs. Very difficult to get some leverage on social there.
Yes.
And get people to do it because of the age demographic, the use of computers, who are more than likely to do that. They may be in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Do you see what I mean?
This works better with products that have a broader appeal.
Yeah.
Definitely. If you can find a niche, if you can find an audience and a niche, and drill down in a niche to where you can find a group or a forum, you can make you can make progress. However, those niches, they're only so big.
Yep.
But things that appeal to a lot of people, that have broad appeal, like pet products, kids products, things that everybody has. There'll always be pets. There'll always be demand for pet products. There'll always be demand for health products. There'll always be demand for beauty products. But there may not always be demand for exhaust pipes or this certain style of doorknob. Yeah, definitely. But it's still, the whole thing about marketing and SEO is that you have multiple streams of traffic, multiple streams of resources that send you traffic, that send you leads, not just one. The paid ad thing on Amazon, to get caught up in that rut and not have anything else that sends you traffic, that's a bad place to be, because if who knows what changes and all of a sudden that dries up, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
You're kind of stuck.
As someone who runs a PPC agency, I totally get that, why you would say that. On the flip side, what I would say as well, PPC is going up. It's getting more and more expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each and every day. It's not getting any cheaper, and it's going to start pushing people out the market. Organics go down as well.
It definitely is.
The one thing that in defense of, to a point, until it becomes point where it goes beyond your margin, which is then you're not running the business, is that cyclic process of, if you're dialed in, you're in a niche and you're doing well, you've got a consistency there. Whereas with the influencers, you've got a team, you're overseeing this, it goes up and down. You don't necessarily get the consistency from that. Again, going back to PPC, the negative side of that would be if you're dominating the market, all going well, and then new incumbents come into the market, pushes the cost per click up. You haven't got the margin you once had, that pushes you out the market. So there are advantages and disadvantages. It's like saying SEO.
And that's why you need to be doing both. You need There's no one size fits all solution. There is no one strategy. There never has been just one strategy that is.
You need to go through 10. Let's say you try 10 different channels. 9 or 8 of them won't work. One of them, if it does, normally works really well. And there's a secondary one which does about 30% of that. So effectively, you double down on the one that works really well, and the 30% you can see if you can squeeze a little bit more life out of that.
You nurture it.
You nurture it, and then you go back and revisit these other channels once your brand's up, and that's why you need the diversification of traffic or new channels that develop. Like things like TikTok, and people are jumping on that now. It's the same with video ads, 30 cents a click. In most cases, exception to the rule, that's long gone as well. But you're right, you have to have a blend of everything, and then you've got to think the terms of service where people are doing things like giveaways, and then we're not going to go down that political road, but you see what I mean? It's all about having that blend.
I agree 100%. People don't understand SEO, and what really the true value of SEO is not just Google. The true value of SEO is relationships, building relationships, building links with different sites to where you have 50 different traffic sources, and you might only have 3 of them that are sending you substantial numbers. The rest might only be sending you 5 people, but it's 5 people over and over and over and over. You could lose a handful of those sources, and you're still fine because you still have the rest. When you put all your eggs in one basket, regardless of what platform or what method, but just putting all your eggs in one basket is positioning yourself to get kicked in the nuts, to get your eggs all broken and scrambled. It's a bad place to be.
So from the top, a brief overview. We're getting about 26 minutes in now. Let's go over them top 5 tips in terms of bullet points: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5.
Okay, so step 1, build yourself a hashtag list. Step 2, make it bigger by going to Instagram and actually verifying that the hashtags are popular and developing more. Step 3, social listening. Step 4 is so you have social listening and your social listening, and also mining your list. That was what it was. It's mining your list. So then next you want to finalize your list and start whittling it down, and then start reaching out to the different potential influencers. And there's BuzzStream, there's Aspire IQ. There's several different software systems out there. Some are expensive, some are not. That you can use to manage the communication. And then there's different ways you can deal with your influencers as well. I like gamification. So I can do a contest where everything is set up like it's like a video game. We create treasure hunts, basically. So this week's treasure hunt is going to be commenting on new and old posts. And for each one that you do, you get so many points. And we can set it up so that people earn points that they can redeem for money, or they can redeem for gift cards, or they can just build up points. But the thing is we give 200 points for a video review. We give 200 points for an unboxing. We give 5 points for shouting out a post. We give, and we set up this whole thing of all of these different things that we want people to do. At the end of 3 months, whoever has the most points gets $2,500. But in the meantime, you've got all of these shout outs and all of these different social signals and things that have been posted that you're not paying for. They're getting commission, and maybe you're giving them a reward on the points, but you're not shilling out a ton of money because it's a contest, and it works. That works really, really well. And with the smaller influencers, the micro, macro, the micro and the nano influencers, they love that stuff. And this is a numbers game. When you focus on the smaller influencers, you need more influencers. Period.
Yeah, I'm going to say you need a shit ton of them to make it work. Because you're going to have, I can give you some numbers, but it doesn't mean that each of those influencers will equally convert exactly the same.
100%.
Some will do more than others. Some will do none. Yep. So like you said, it's a combination of everything.
E-commerce is a numbers game. Every day, it's numbers. And the more you can do to bring more people into your funnel and to bring more people in front of your product and more people to experience your brand, the more sales you're going to do, because in the end, a certain percentage is going to click, a certain percentage is going to go to the listing, a certain percentage is going to purchase.
Yeah.
It all comes down to people, foot traffic, eyes on product.
Yeah, qualified traffic.
Yes.
Any final thoughts before we go, mate?
The net effect of using influencers in this way is that you get content that is still there in a month, still there in 6 months, can still be there in a year. So, and it's based on money you're spending today.
Yeah.
It has that added value of continuing to drive traffic and continuing to have value. That, along with the cost of influencers alone, lowers your acquisition cost.
Yeah.
And it expands your possible potential buyers. And that's the name of the game. It's with logistics from China and, and all these other costs and stuff. It's really, really hard for new sellers, for any sellers, to have a margin, let alone profits. It's getting harder and harder. So, this is not a pull money out of your pocket, throw down on the table, and it's done.
It's a long-term investment. It's a brand investment over time, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's time and effort. But I have a lot of this set up to be automated with sheets, and I don't have time to log in and check all this crap every day. I just want a spreadsheet in my email that I can look at and see it all in one place. And that's how you run your business and don't get run by it.
Yeah, indeed.
And that's something that we all are guilty of.
Yeah, we get in the weeds sometimes. What's the best way that people can reach you?
I have my website, ecommerce-optimizer.com. I'm on Facebook as Ecommerce Optimizer. I'm on all the social channels as Ecommerce Optimizer. I'm pretty easy to find.
Excellent. Guys, thank you for joining us today. I'll be back here again tomorrow. Joe, thank you for your time. Take care of yourself. You're welcome. Take care of yourself and your family. Much love, and I'll see you again.